I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
On his first day in office, in an executive order aimed at restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship, President Donald Trump decreed that the First Amendment to the Constitution is, quote, essential to the success of our republic. Not long after, during an address to a joint session of Congress, the president declared, mission accomplished.
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
But Palestinian activist and Columbia graduate Mahmoud Khalil, whom ICE arrested over his advocacy against the war in Gaza, doesn't think so.
Okay, let's not. Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone.
Neither does tough student Rumeisa Usturk, whom the Trump administration abducted off the street over an opinion piece she co-wrote in the student newspaper.
The Tufts University PhD student cried out in distress.
Or the scores of student advocates and protesters who have seen their visas revoked or been marked for deportation.
I now fear abduction and subsequent deportation by ICE.
Or the colleges and universities that have seen their funding and very existence come under threat for not falling in line with the administration's priorities.
The Trump administration announcing a major freeze on federal funding for Harvard University.
Or the news organizations that have been singled out for retaliation simply for making editorial decisions that the White House doesn't like.
The White House has indefinitely banned one of the biggest media organizations in the U.S., the Associated Press, from the Oval Office and from Air Force One.
And then there's the law firms, nonprofits, and civic society organizations that fear they might be next on the president's hit list, just for standing up for causes and clients they care about. In this reality, no one is safe. My name is Cristian Farias. I'm a legal journalist and the host of the new podcast from the Knight Institute, The Bully's Pulpit, Trump versus the First Amendment. My goal will be to chronicle in real time the coordinated, unprecedented assault by the President of the United States and his administration on the freedoms of expression, inquiry, association, and the press, all happening at this very moment. Each week, I and an advocate from the Knight Institute will follow the battles over the First Amendment playing out in courts of law and in the court of public opinion. And as all of us take stock of the abuses grabbing headlines, we'll also take you behind them to show you, week after week, how people, communities, and institutions are resisting, protecting each other, and rising to defend the freedoms the First Amendment guarantees. The Bully's Pulpit, Trump versus the First Amendment, will launch May 16th, with new episodes dropping every Friday. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts.